Hello, welcome everyone to today's webinar, The Future of Consumer Subscriptions, Insights and Strategies for Success. I'm Benjamin Caveen, your host, and I'll be joined on stage with an esteemed guest and regular industry voice across the stage and globe, Giles Tung. How are you getting on today?
Yeah, thanks, Ben. Good today. Very excited to be doing this with everyone, and just wanted to say thanks very much for everyone for giving us their time and joining us today.
So today we'll be exploring the dynamic world of subscription services, uncovering some of the latest trends and data from our latest US report. And we'll be looking at the indirect channel distribution of subscriptions content, showcasing all the benefits of reselling third-party content through those channel partners. And all this is pointing towards super bundling, which is our solution that is helping bring all content under one roof. By the end of the session, you'll understand the three key benefits, and from three different perspectives: from the subscriber, like you and I, the reseller perspective, and then the content provider themselves. So let's dive into the data. So starting off, the subscription market has seen exponential growth, projected to reach nearly $600 billion by 2026. Giles, how do you see this growth impacting the industry's direction?
Yeah, I think this growth isn't just about the numbers we're seeing, it's also reflecting a change in consumer behavior. So the rise in indirect channels like telcos underscores a shift towards bundled services, catering towards a demand for convenience and value. We're already seeing that telcos are dominating the distribution of content, with 20% of all SVOD subs already sold through telcos, rising to 50% in some regions like LATAM. And that's just telcos, not all indirect channels. And this is also leading to another emerging trend of super bundling, where multiple different subscription-based content providers are brought together and sold by resellers, where previously subscriptions were sold direct to consumer. Behind the scenes, though, selling indirect channels is a technically complex and potentially time-consuming and expensive activity, when each technical integration is a one-to-one activity. We're fortunate here at Bango that both the resellers and content providers are turning to us using our digital vending machine product to help standardize selling through indirect channels. By using the digital vending machine, we're speeding up time to market and enabling rapid scaling. So connecting once to Bango and accessing this ecosystem of already connected partners. So let's get on with the research, shall we, Ben?
Sounds like a plan. I think before we dig into the new survey data, I've got three short polls to share with you all. I think if you could just open your chat function, which should be on the top of your screen, and then share your answers to the following questions, and we can have a little look and have a little bit of a play on this one and see how we get on. So first poll, I think I know how this one's going to go, to be honest with you. So how many subscription services are you subscribed to on a monthly basis? Now, this could be subscription video on demand, it could be sports VOD, gaming, productivity, lifestyle. I mean, there's loads of subscriptions out there. I mean, for me personally, I've got my Amazon, my Netflix, I've got Disney, Spotify. I'm a bit of a gamer, so I've got my PlayStation Plus. I'm trying to learn Italian at the moment, which is not going the best in the world. And then I've got Google One. So that's 7 I've got. And if I actually look at my wife as well, she's got even more. I mean, she's got flower subscriptions, some health and beauty stuff. I know there's a lot there. What about you, Giles? Whereabouts are you with your subscriptions?
Yeah, I have tallied this up recently, and I'm well over 15. So but you have to remember, I'm also a parent. So I've got Netflix, Disney, Apple, DAZN for the boxing the other day, which was a pay-per-view which came with a subscription, Spotify, Microsoft 365, Dropbox. I get Amazon Prime through Bango as a perk, and I've got some other stuff for the kids like Go Henry bank card subscription. I can see a bunch of comments coming in on the chat here, so let's see what we got. So we've got Marta with about 6, Stefan 8, Zhao 5, Laurent more than 10, Becky's got 5, Suki's 12 or more, Gary's 11, Philippe around 8, Guillaume 5. Hassan's got 10, Andy's got 12, but he's lost count. Christina's 4, Raquel's 6, Tracy's got too many to count.
Wow. Thank you for
Oh,
that. So
Kai
yeah,
with a late entry though. He's got 20 to 30.
20 to 30, wowzers. Well, from our data, I mean, we're seeing an average in the US of between 4 and 5 subscriptions as an average. But, you know, as you can see from some of these in here, 10% of US subscribers actually have 10 or more. And then, you know, 5% are actually paying over $200 a month on subscriptions. Some staggering facts here. So let's move on to the next one. So as you mentioned there, Giles, you're a parent. Do we have any other parents on the call?
Yes, we do. We've got some hands up. Yes, 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 yes. We've got lots of hands up.
Lots
Of parents. Okay.
Well, first of all, congratulations for being a parent. And secondly, thank you for fueling this subscription economy. I mean, you're paying almost 10% more than the average person. And that's not just SVOD. You know, 1 in 10 parents actually signed up to educational subscriptions, obviously for their kids. So you can see that the difference there of being what type of, you know, if you're a parent or a single person like myself, you know, you're paying that extra premium on your subscriptions. Very interesting stuff. Now, this one's a bit of a controversial one, Giles, and I think we need to make sure that everyone on the call here is being as truthful as they can. So how many of people here are paying for a subscription that you don't even use? Now, it's an interesting one.
I'm putting my hand up for this. Yes, Hassan is not using Strava. Come on, Hassan. Zwift. Oh, it's the sports ones, is it? Okay, it's the exercise stuff. Yeah, okay, well, Zwift.
You're not alone. So a staggering 36% of subscribers actually pay for a subscription that they're not using. I mean, I myself, I've been caught in this situation. I know we spoke about this, Giles, before. I think I had an Audible subscription that got me for a few months. And this actual research opened my eyes. What about you, Giles?
Yeah, I'm a repeat offender. So Apple TV, I've been waiting for Napoleon to come out. So I had that on a free trial, and then it went on a bit. So I paid for a few months there. I probably wasn't using it at all, waiting for Napoleon. Then I just watched Joshua versus Ngannou on DAZN, which was a pay-per-view, but it came with a subscription, and of course I haven't cancelled it. So now I'm a subscriber to DAZN. And somewhere in my life, I've got a VPN that I'm paying for on an annual, which I just can't seem to work out how to cancel. So yes, I'm in that.
Very interesting stuff. So all this data and the subsequent slides that are going to come after this have all been collated from the primary research that we've done on subscribers only just a few weeks ago, back in January. And we really wanted to understand the key behaviors and attitudes around subscriptions. And what better place for us to start with focusing on the US, who are the #1 consumer of subscriptions. Should we dig into the data? I think we should. So we found that $924 is being spent per year on subscriptions alone. That is on average $77 per month. That's huge. Now, this is not just this is not including your mobile or your broadband tariff. This is solely subscription services that you use. This is the content that you consume and the apps that you use. Our survey found that 26% are paying more than $100 per month. That's what, and 1 in 20 are paying over $200 per month on subscriptions. And as mentioned earlier, in the average number of subscriptions, it's kind of sitting between that 4 and 5 mark, according to our data. And 10% have actually now 10 or more subscriptions. So it looks like, Giles, you'll actually be in the top 10% with it if you lived over in the States.
Yeah, doesn't surprise me.
And then if we move on to the next slide, we're seeing that the range and diversity of subscription options are significantly expanding, and they're expanding all the time with new services coming online. SVOD definitely still remains as the center of the universe of subscriptions, with nearly just over actually 3/4 of the US subscribers currently subscribing to one of the SVODs. And on the right, you can actually see that sheer range of subscriptions. And this really does build a great case for super bundling, which is bringing all those subscriptions under one roof. In today's competitive landscape, the battle to gain new subscribers has intensified alongside strategies to try and maximize each subscriber's revenue, aiming to circumvent the cycle of cancellations and attrition. Recent headlines have spotlighted a significant move against password sharing, with major players such as Netflix pushing users towards paid tiers, therefore minimizing those ad interruptions. Yet this is a delicate balance to maintain. So 2/3 of the subscribers indicate that their budgets just won't stretch to cover all subscriptions that they desire. And more than half have actually terminated their subscriptions following these recent hikes in prices. And our data indicates a hierarchy of subscription services based on the vulnerability to cancellations linked to those price increases. And notably, you can see there at the bottom that SVOD and SportsVOD are showing really high retention rates and suggesting that they're more resilient and more sticky with those price increases. Very interesting stuff. We also kind of digged a little bit deeper into ad funding tiers, and there's been actually a fairly positive reaction in the market to this with the introduction of ad tiers. And they're opening up the ability to access the content, but at a cheaper price. Now, 40% of our audience have downgraded their subscriptions since the introduction of ads. But however, on the flip side, 36% have upgraded their subscription to more of a premium tier. And that's probably to avoid the ads, right? And we know content providers are experimenting with this, and we're seeing some really early results. What are your thoughts on this, Giles?
Well, we're seeing here subscribers are welcoming the new flexibility and regaining control over their subscriptions. So by being able to downgrade to an ad-supported tier, it may actually help reduce churn and better represent value to a customer, which of course may change over time as, say, a blockbuster film is released and then it's gone, TV shows are released or a season ends. So the value you extract from your subscription may change, and so what you're paying for it may wish to evolve as well. However, there's a backlash in there and a bit of a warning. More subscribers believe that a paid subscription should not contain adverts. I expect, though, this is more to do with paid subscriptions which become ad funded without warning, perhaps. And whereas it looks like subscribers are happy to choose ad supported channels. So there's something about the choice and selection there and the value that you're expecting to get from it. Meanwhile, we also know that content providers are able to attract new customers with different pricing tiers, and ad-funded models have been credited with this. And our data is showing that about 1/3 of existing subscribers have upgraded to avoid new ads anyway. So, and I'm actually considering myself my Amazon Prime subscription, which just changed to a limited adverts model. So I'm considering that, particularly as I get my Amazon Prime as a perk through Bango.
That's really interesting. I think, subscription costs are increasing, right? So subscribers are seeking out those best deals around, and those bundled offers through indirect channels are sometimes going to be the best option. And they're becoming more popular as well. So, our data has shown that 34% now sign up for other services that they already pay for. You mentioned that before, your Amazon Prime account, Giles. I mean, a lot of people actually sign up to Paramount Plus or Hey You and other different subscription services through that Amazon Prime account. And nearly 30% are now receiving their subscription for free. And this could be through your telco, your broadband provider, as a hard bundle package. So that's obviously something that's becoming a lot more popular. And this is the bit that I thought was really interesting. So 1 in 5, that's 20% of our subscribers from the US sign up exclusively through indirect channels. What are your comments on that one, Giles? Pretty staggering stuff, right?
Yeah, it is amazing. And this is probably the standout stat for me, or the one I least expected. So what we're seeing is an evolution away from the days of going direct to source, for example, to netflix.com to make your subscription. And there are ever growing ways and means to subscribe to new content. So the indirect channels are clearly well established already. If 1 in 5 subscribers, who on average have 4.5 subscriptions, have bought all of them through indirect channels, Ben.
So, and then now we're looking to kind of the biggest frustrations that consumers like you and I have had, and it's around that management of subscriptions, as the sheer volume of choice is just increasing, right? And it's increasing to staggering amounts of, as we said there, on average 4 to 5, but as we saw in the chat, some people have got 10, 15, 20 subscriptions they're trying to manage. It's quite a lot to really deal with. So 68% of our audience felt there is actually too many subscriptions right now, and 33% saying that they feel locked in to their current subscriptions. Flexibility was actually cited as one of the top priorities when signing up to subscriptions, with 35% saying they regularly want to pause and restart their subscriptions and have more control over their subscriptions. And interestingly, this one on the right was quite interesting for us. This forever subscription. So this is one where you'll never cancel and you'll always keep it. I know myself, I've definitely got a couple of those. I think my Prime, for example, and Netflix, I'll just never ever, because I use the service so much, and I also see the new content coming through, and they've got me now. I think they've got me for life, and I'm not alone. So 75% of those subscribers have said they've got one of these. Very interesting.
Yeah. For me, it's Prime, Netflix, Spotify, just off the top of my head, 3 there that I can't see myself. Yeah.
Very, very interesting. And we saw strong signs of this kind of feeling of overwhelming and like, I'm upset over their management of subscriptions. So you can see there that keeping track of, how much I'm spending on subscriptions, and, 35% saying they don't know how much they're spending, 32 saying they're frustrated with how they currently manage and pay for their subscription bills because it could be all over the place at different times of the month. And then 44% saying they find it too hard to keep track of where they subscribe. We spoke about this before, haven't we, Giles, about it could be a voucher, it could be something through your telco. It's very hard to know exactly whereabouts it is. And then 49% are saying they're annoyed that they can't just manage it all in one place, one centralized area that makes things a lot easier to control. And I thought this one was really interesting. We've coined the term of a vampire subscription. We mentioned this earlier in the polls where we said, are you paying for a subscription that you never use? And we've called it a vampire because it's sucking the money out of your account without you knowing. And this actually is 36% that's saying this, but actually this is when we looked at the generational cuts, we could see that this actually rises to 50% in the younger generation between 18 and 24. So they're just wasting their money month by month. So consumers are craving this convenience, and they're craving the control over their subscription ecosystem. 73% have stated they want this single platform to buy and to manage all in one place. 69% want that ability to pay for multiple subscriptions in one monthly bill, consolidating all into that one place. And similarly, 69% prefer the a la carte way of subscriptions. So gone are the days of the cable pre-packaged solution where it's you've got this and that's what it is. People are now wanting that flexibility and that choice. Giles, we've observed something quite curious here, haven't we?
Yes, we have, Ben. If you wouldn't mind going to the next slide, we'll pick it up from there. We've seen in the data already that consumers are overwhelmed and confused, a bit frustrated, paying for subs they aren't using. They can't remember how or where they've subscribed. However, paradoxically, perhaps, we're also seeing that if we solve these problems by creating content hubs to simply manage, administrate, and pay for our subs, we're actually more likely to sign up to more subscriptions, to spend more time using them, and be more loyal to the provider of that content hub. So this is showing an emerging trend driven by the consumer for what we're calling super bundling. And if this service is provided, the subscribers are more likely to switch to the provider of this service. So it's really showing that super bundling is offering to consumers a better flexibility, control, and visibility over what they're subscribed to, and they're actually likely to take more subscriptions if we can solve this problem.
So yeah, there's an opportunity here, isn't there, for pretty much any of these providers on screen to have their own subscription hub. And what we did is we asked the US subscribers which one would they have as a preference, right? Who is the best placed to provide this all-in-one subscription hub? So coming on top was telcos. They've ranked the highest as the most trusted network to provide such a service. But we're also seeing the appeal for other sectors like banking and wallets and retailers that are all creeping up the list. So really interesting stuff that this is open to anyone, really, isn't it? So focusing on telcos as an example here, we dug a little bit deeper to gauge what consumers are willing to pay and gain access to super bundling. 47% would say they'd pay for a higher monthly tariff if they could select from a menu of popular subscriptions. And 61% said they'd pay a higher bill if subscriptions were bundled directly into their package. We're also asked whether, we would think if we're paying in terms of a percentage of increase on their existing bill, where's that kind of sweet spot? That's what we were trying to understand and engage. 19% said they'd pay 50% or more on their monthly bill, which equates to actually $364 on their annual bill, which, by the way, that's extra revenue, right, for the reseller. Very interesting stuff and interesting insights here. Now, I'm going to pass over to Giles, who's going to walk through some of the data and insights from another report that we did last year, where we surveyed telco leaders around their strategy with bundling of third-party content. So over to you, Giles.
Yeah, thanks, Ben. So we conducted a survey of 115 telco leaders from the UK and US. And what we found were typical priorities for the telcos, as you can see here now. So driving up new revenues, driving up engagement and net promoter score, customer acquisition, increasing ARPU, average revenue per user, reducing their cost per acquisition, reducing the cost to acquire new customers, and improving customer loyalty. Then we asked them, why are you considering super bundling and what benefit do you get from them? And you can see easily they map on top of one another. So again, it's about customer acquisition, driving up revenue, driving engagement, and loyalty. And ultimately, underneath all of that is pushing up the net promoter score. So if we just take a quick look at the evolution of bundling for telcos, for those of us who are old enough to see the start of all of this with mobile phones, the bringing together of data, call time, and SMS. I'm guessing you weren't, Ben.
Nope.
Bringing together data, call time, and SMS under one price point was the start of bundling. So that was considered a bundle. Then we saw companies adding a perk on top. So you might get Netflix for a year, or you might get, remember Orange Wednesdays, cinema tickets, and so forth. So there was some element of bundling, but the objective there was really a kind of sales promotion. So it's to drive up the value of that package. And now what we're seeing is this move to super bundling, when now the telco wants to retain the relationship with the customer for these products. So they're using this content as a means to sell and engage with the customer. So now if you're selling Netflix, Disney, instead of sending a once a month bill to your customer, you might be sending some information about the latest and greatest subscription product that you want to promote to them. So it's a real shift here in terms of the use of subscription content and how the telcos are using bundling to drive engagement, revenue, etc. So Ben, perhaps we can pull up some examples here. We've prepared 2 short videos for you, one of which is Optus SubHub, which is the OG of super bundling. And then we'll have a look at Verizon Plus Play, which is probably the gold standard at this point for super bundling.
Netflix, Amazon Prime, Paramount Plus, news, sport, books, documentaries. So many subscriptions, so little time. Imagine if you were able to manage some of your favorites all in one place. Well, imagine no longer. Introducing Optus SubHub. Optus SubHub lets you manage your eligible subscriptions from one place, meaning you'll enjoy the ease of making just one simple payment each month. And it can help you make some big savings every month too. Because when you bundle 2 eligible subscriptions, you can save 5% per month. And when you bundle 3 or more, you save 10%. Best of all, Optus SubHub is available at no extra cost to eligible Optus customers. Just head to subhub.optus.com.au and log in with your Optus My Account details. Manage the subscriptions you love, all in one place with Optus SubHub. It starts with yes.
Right, so let's have a look at the Verizon video.
Welcome to Verizon's Plus Play, a new platform for Verizon customers to shop, manage, and save on the subscriptions they love, all in one place. It's easy to use. Visit plusplay.com to browse subscriptions from some of today's most popular content providers. You may also find exclusive offers and free trials to get the content you love for less than you are paying today. Once you've decided on a content provider, you'll be able to get started quickly. Confirm that you are an existing Verizon Mobile or 5G Home customer. Then sign into your Verizon account. Select the billing address and payment for your new subscription. Follow any additional on-screen instructions to activate your subscription, or choose to finish later. Under the Manage tab, you'll be able to see all of your subscriptions. You can also review your billing information. Click on the Calendar tab to view your subscriptions and when you'll be billed for them. Go to plusplay.com to get started today.
So with Optus, we're seeing 20 different types of content, not just video, but also some other categories there. But what they're trying to do is encourage you to take more and more subs from them. The more you take, the greater the discount you get. Verizon taking a slightly different approach. They've got over 40 different types of content. They're offering different durations. So NFL, for example, monthly, seasonal, annual. And they're trying to find unique propositions that they can bring to their customers. So, for example, a buy one, get one free. Take any subscription on an annual and we'll give you Netflix annual for free was one promotion they ran. They're also bringing together content which otherwise wouldn't be brought together. So Netflix and Max, ad-funded tiers for $10 a month. That's a totally unique proposition that doesn't exist anywhere else in the market. So the super bundling content hubs are really creating these unique environments in which unique propositions can be taken to customers, often new customers, and it's a win for everyone. So also in the Final Frontier survey, we asked about future plans. So asking these same telco leaders about super bundling, and 89% were telling us they want to offer a content hub with super bundling features. They're telling us it will be a vital revenue source. It will give them strong competitive advantage, and they admitted that they're struggling to maintain engagement with their customers. So see this as a path to help with that.
Thank you, Giles. So it does sound like it's high up the priority list for operators that are going to ready to start super bundling right away, right? So we did a similar study with content providers as well with our friends at Stream TV, just to try and understand why they're getting involved in super bundling. Are you okay to share some insights on this study, which we did late last year?
Yeah, I'd love to. Thanks, Ben. So this is the content provider perspective. And we really started with asking them why they're doing this. So it's a story of reaching new customers, really. So by taking advantage of the huge customer bases that these indirect channels already have. When asked why they're thinking of being involved in bundling, the overwhelming majority were talking about reach. So it's about reach and customer acquisition. We've also had content providers tell us in panels that we've been part of that a customer acquired through bundling is a stickier customer, and that came out in this data too. And with bundling, content providers also expect a lower cost of acquisition. And the last 2 points we see here are really quite related. So by bundling, content providers are also leveraging existing payment relationships. And if we think about the nature of a subscription, it's a recurring payment, usually a monthly recurring payment. This can be a tricky thing to manage, particularly if the customer doesn't use or doesn't want to share their bank card details or is entirely unbanked. So content providers can leverage these existing payment relationships, for example, between a telco and its customer, to enable these recurring subscription payments. And that's probably why we see that macro trend of up to 50% of SVOD already being sold through telcos in some markets. And content providers can easily expand internationally as well through bundling by leveraging those payment relationships, but also the customer services of those indirect channels. So it's not surprising that in our Stream TV QuestX survey of content provider leaders, that 81% believe that bundling is the future business model for subscriptions, that 66% stated that super bundling will be a vital source of revenue, and that 34% admitted that they were struggling to maintain a profitable direct-to-consumer subscription business. And I think we've probably all seen some headlines around that topic elsewhere. One more point on super bundling, which is a benefit to all parties, is that these super bundling content hubs create a unique environment for cross-company bundles. So, for example, Netflix plus Paramount Plus, including Showtime, with a 19% discount, or Netflix Premium plus NFL Premium for $25 a month, which saves $144 over 12 months. These are the sorts of opportunities that simply wouldn't exist elsewhere. So we're also opening up an opportunity here for more sophisticated bundling. So using segmentation and creating propositions to suit those segments, perhaps we can look at lifestyle, life stage, behavioral things, and bring together unique combinations into bundles which will appeal to customers. So these cross-company bundles are really perceived by consumers to drive up the value of all the constituent participants. And again, it creates a stickier customer. So it's really very hard to do this kind of cross-company bundle anywhere else. You wouldn't do it on your own website. You couldn't do it in an app store. So these indirect channels are really opening up a world of creativity and unique propositions for customers. And in our data, 70% of respondents agreed that this was an important part of their business in the future. So I think that brings us nearly to the end of the research, and we'll wrap up in a minute with a Q&A. I hope you've all enjoyed our research and insights. If you'd like to learn more about the digital vending machine and how we're bringing together the world's leading resellers and content providers to enable super bundling at speed and scale, then we are here for you. And remember, connecting once to Bango gives you access to an ecosystem of over 90 connected partners and puts you on the path to super bundling. And we're really pleased to be working with some of the world's leading content providers across a very broad range of subscription services, particularly subscription video on demand, but we're now seeing a growing and increasingly diverse set of connected partners. I think that just about wraps us up for today, Ben, with the Future of Consumer Subscriptions webinar. Ben, perhaps you can show everyone how they can get hold of this data and how to keep in touch.
Yeah, thank you, Giles. Yeah, definitely a mouthful as a title, I can see. We've got so these are the 3 resources that we've mentioned and cited in this webinar. You can access these on our website at the bango.com/resources page. Feel free to reach out to us if you want any more information about the digital vending machine or anything else we've spoken about today. We've got a dedicated LinkedIn sub-company page, which is going to be all the latest news and insights that are all going to be on this page. So do give that a follow. And yeah, please do stay in touch. And we'll now move on to the live Q&A section of this. So let me stop sharing. You're going to see both of our faces now. So let's go to the questions that we've got in here. We'll start with the first question. Giles, one for you. How quickly can a company launch a super bundling solution?
That's a great question. So typically we're not the slowest moving part. It can be either side. We're greasing the wheels though. We're making this fast. So a connected partner, for example, somebody who you saw on that chart who's already connected, could be live within weeks. So we've had 3 weeks, we've had 4 weeks. So we can get bundling up and running very fast. We help on the technical side, of course, with our digital vending machine. We can also help on the commercial side. We have an e-distribution model where we're able to offer wholesale pricing, which gets everyone to market very fast. So we're able to get people up and running in the order of weeks and months, and super bundling certainly shorter than would be possible if done in another way.
Thank you for that. If that answers your question. Another one. So super interesting presentation. Regarding the consumer perspective, do you have any other data points from other regions that you can share? Interesting question. Thank you for your question.
Yeah, so this is the second US study that we've done, the one we talked about this morning with at the start of the presentation with 5, it's the morning for someone, for 5,000 US subscribers. So second one of the US studies. We did a Southeast Asia and India study, so that's on our website now. That was really interesting, gives insights to not just the countries in Southeast Asia, but also gives a glimpse at the difference between prepaid and postpaid customers. We have in the pipeline a study of Latin America and also a study of some of the larger European countries, including UK, France, Germany, Italy, and Spain. So keep an eye on our website, follow the LinkedIn dedicated page for more info on that.
Yeah, we can share a link after this call in the chat so you have easy access to that resource. Another similar question coming in as well from this one's saying the US research is very comprehensive. What are you seeing in other parts of the world? I suppose we just addressed that, saying that we've got other parts of the world that we've done research on and other ones that we will be doing later this year. So do watch the space for those. A question here from Tracy. Is there a Bango branded hub for bundling apps to be in the cards?
Watch the space, Tracy.
And then another question here that's come in. What events do you have coming up and where can we meet you next? Do you want to take this one, Giles, or shall I?
Well, let me just say that I'll be in San Francisco next week at the Future of TVOT in San Francisco from Wednesday and Thursday. We just had a team in Hong Kong at the Asia Video show there, and we've been at Mobile World Congress, of course. Ben, what else have we got coming up?
Yeah, so we've got we're part of the Next TV series. We're doing a few events with those, and they're going to be, dotted all over the world. So I think the next one's going to be in London, and we've got a few in LATAM actually as well. So we're going to be part of Mobi XD, which is bringing together again the operator side and the content provider side. So a really great event to be part of if you're based in the LATAM region. So. And all this stuff can be, all our events calendar is available online, so feel free to dip into there and see which events we've got coming up. Another question from Stefan, this one for you, Giles. Does Bango also take care of payments for in-app purchases, especially with gaming?
That's a good question. So we have the capability to handle a lot of different types of purchases. So if we are the ones doing the connecting the reseller and there's the subscription involved, then we're able to handle some one-off purchases. So depends on how the subscription's been bought, but if it's one that we are handling, then we can also manage one-off payments.
Excellent. Okay, I think we'll give another one more minute if there's any other questions to come through. And if not, I think we can wrap this up. Thank you very much for everyone that's joined today. We hope you got benefit from the session. If you need to reach out to us directly, feel free to reach out to us at sales@bango.com, and we can pick that up and take the conversation forward. If you want to connect with us on LinkedIn, you'll find both our names there, easy to find. And yeah, we hope you enjoyed the show, and thank you very much, Giles, for joining me on this session.
Thanks, Ben, and thanks everyone for coming. It's been a pleasure speaking to you all today. Thank you.